if you compare the industry now to when you first got started, what are the most significant changes that you've noticed for women in the industry?
I think if I go back like 20, 25 years ago, fewer women were in the area of software quality assurance, software testing. Definitely nobody in my surrounding that would serve as a role model like female managers. And I think that has changed. But in total, not only for women, I guess also for the men here, the appreciation of testing has changed. When I started in 1998, everybody, the guys who went, or the people that went into testing were the ones that were not good enough for programming. That definitely has changed.
I think the best thing I want to mention, we are visiting a lot of schools the last 5 years, and we are having that part of our program. We can double the participants inside the schools who want to enter any IT role. And I think it is a big achievement for our foundation and our association also. Yes, I am a security guy, but I think at the end of the day, it is a good improvement.
What I see is that more and more people, more and more women can join the world of IT because of their language knowledge and because of all these programs and all these kind of trainings. Hungary also offers with all these schools. So this is also a huge improvement, what I see.
Started my career 40 years ago, so there was no internet, no mobile phone, no social media. And I just liked mathematics. So and plus I was living in Romania, so it was a closed system. We were not allowed to travel. We were not allowed to get information. So it is an enormous change. It's a very good change in my lifetime. I think. By that time, it was very normal that women were considered equal to men in the sense that nor men or women could do, in fact, anything interesting. So you could be an engineer, you could be a teacher, you could be a lawyer maybe, or a doctor. That was the choice. And I think nowadays people and women also have such a great variety and such a great possibility to choose among things. And you also don't have to engage yourself for life into one direction, because you know that if you would like, you can change. And so I think from my perspective, everything changed in good, in the good direction.
When I started back in the time, I started as a developer, as an iOS developer, and it was interesting that the role of the tester, I'm not saying that did not exist, but it was much rarer than it is nowadays. What I see today is that I'm glad that I'm teaching at Masterfield, because also I can hold some trainings for people, for adults who would like to join the IT. And right now what I see that around 50% of the participants are women and male. And both of the genders are performing well. So I think that right now, in the moment what we are living right now, we are doing quite fine. And I'm happy that all of those groups are doing well what I'm teaching, and I'm very proud of them.
We did a poll earlier, and in the poll we asked some questions. And the outcome is quite different to polls that we've done previously. So things that might be significant challenges for women, the lack of access to education and training opportunities. Apparently here, 0% of you see it as an issue. Unconscious bias and stereotyping hindering women. Actually, that's quite a big response there. 42% of people who answered this said, yeah, that can be a challenge. Limited representation of women in leadership roles. I think this is great if this is what's representative of Hungary. Only 10% think it's a problem. Moving on to an interesting one. The gender pay gap and unequal opportunities for career growth for women. 47% said yes, that's a challenge here. Let's look at the challenges that women face in their career, and let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that actually you've been able to overcome those challenges.
If you want to go back to your company and you want to do part-time, it's okay, because the companies do allow you to do only 4 hours or 6 hours, let's say. But take a look at LinkedIn for the job descriptions. How often do you see any positions where you don't have to work 8 hours with your children? So I think it's a huge problem for women going back to work. That's one of them. So I would definitely say it. That's why we do not take also, a lot of us, do not take leadership roles, because we know leadership role is not 40 hours a week, it's more. And if you have children, and how can you choose between family and work? Why don't men choose between family and work? Sorry, just a question. You don't have to answer it. What I do see in my generation, but not for the older generation, let's say, and will there be a change as well for everyone?
Is it starting to happen that more and more jobs are saying, yes, this is flexible, people can do part-time working, we are family-oriented? Is that something you see here in Hungary in job adverts as an example?
No, I don't see it. The hybrid part, yes, that you can work from home 2-3 days a week or even more, depending on the company. I think it's good that it's getting more and more flexible with this. But on the other hand, do you have the system where do you take your child if you don't have any grandparents? If they are under 3 years old? Do you have the system for that? How many daycares do you have? That's also a big issue, but you have to challenge.
We have way more young fathers that are taking parental leave and are gone not only for a month or two, but for 5 months, for 6 months. So that's different. That did not happen 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the childcare, you need a good childcare support system, whether it is a nanny that you have. For example, in our company, we have our own kindergarten. So you can bring your little ones, and it's only up to 3 years, and then they have to go in the normal kindergarten. So you can bring your kids, and actually a number of colleagues, male and female, are doing it.
According to the Hungarian law, a father can have 10 days after the birth of their child, only 10 days. There are some companies which give you 1 month, and that's all. There are, I know, like 5 families from my acquaintances who chose that the father stayed at home for like 6 months. But it's very rare, still very rare. So the system is very different, yes, unfortunately.
Can we think also about the impact on career of all of this? So, we've talked about having children, and we've talked about, having a support network and what have you, but that takes a lot of doing, and I wonder, what does that do to stifle the career of women sometimes?
Yes, definitely. Women have to choose between the career and the family, I think. And what I wanted to add to what you just said is that it's, in my opinion, it's not only the care system that is there or it's not there. I think it's the fact or the way of thinking of the women. So I felt very guilty when I left my child to my mother. And by the way, I came back after half a year to work. Came back to work because they said if I don't come back, they will hire someone else. And I've chosen to work 2 weeks and another 2 weeks not to work. And I was coming from Romania to Budapest and back. And so 2 weeks my child was with my mother, and it was the best what could have happened, my mother and her father. But still, it was such a very, very difficult decision, I think. So it's even if you have the money to pay the nanny, even if there is a good childcare, it's in us that we want to stay with our children, and it's very difficult. I think I would be interested in how do you, as a father.
I do the same. I gave up my career for some time.
I usually bring my kid to the office. I'm not sure if this is gender specific or not. Usually mothers are expected to be, and now we are right now in the biases category. I know that my kid's father does the same, and he's bringing the kid to his office as well. So that's how we solved our problem, because, well, the grandparents are quite far away in Romania, so not quite close to us, and we could not solve it in anyhow. So either, I'm not saying that I choose career or I choose the kid, because if I would choose the career, I would think that I would miss much more.
The issue, I think, for women quite often is, Claudia will go into this a bit more, mom guilt. And now, obviously, you've got an element there of maybe dad guilt and what you want to do with your children. But this thing, mom guilt, I think for a lot of women can be quite debilitating. It can be really derogatory to how we actually are in the workplace. Let's talk a little bit about preparing, women into the workplace. And Andrea, you mentioned STEM and some of the initiatives that are taking place, I think, to perhaps encourage girls to get a little bit more involved. I'm quite keen to hear a little bit about the type of programs that are happening in Hungary, and perhaps you could kick us off with some things you're involved in.
I am joining as a teacher for the International Safer Internet Project approximately 20 years. And I just visiting a lot of schools, and after I was also lucky because I can join Women in IT Security. And after that, we can establish the Hungarian chapter of Women for Cyber. Women for Cyber Foundation is a European Union-founded foundation, and there is 28 countries now. And I am proud because I am the founder of the Hungarian chapter. But I was working 15 years long to get this achievement. And on the other hand, this experience gives us a lot of opportunities because we are visiting a lot of schools before. So we have really good basis to run a program to visit all of the schools around the country. And as I said, we are not just promoting IT security as a role for the kids, we are promoting all of the IT-related roles for them. We were really lucky because we applied for and get the opportunity to make the Girls in ICTD 224 from the International Telecommunication Union last week, and we get 553 kids. And to tell the truth, I think all of us working on this topic to get involved any of the generations into these IT roles, if we are able to empower women and girls to enter this field, testing, security, BIA, and all those things, it is just amazing, and we need such an amount of professionals now. So we have a lot of roles to fulfill. So I just want to encourage everyone to take a part of some of the programs and join us to bring all of the experiences inside the system, because I think in Hungary we really need to show them how beautiful IT is. Girls do not have any idea how to enter this field, and we have to encourage them.
Girls, young women thinking about a career in testing that they might access, if there aren't such programs available, then what sort of thoughts do you have about how we can start those programs, how we can engage people and motivate them to want to build that type of program, to start them early, really, to show this is a good career?
As far as I know, there were some initiatives, especially at the universities, where it was inclusion for girls, how to involve them into the IT. But on the other hand, what I think is that even before the university, it shouldn't be biased that, I do not know, just girls or just males can join the IT. Which is interesting for me today that when it comes about edu thinking, then to join the testing is quite easy for women. And what I can see today is that women which are turning back from maternity leave are definitely thinking in testing and in IT, and I'm very happy in it. For example, they are joining some trainings, they are interested in what they can do, and I have 2 women in my team. However, it's a 10-person team, so we can say that it's about 20%, which is absolutely the industry standard. However, they weren't hired because of the numbers, I have to tell it. And what I can see, they are performing the same as the other people are doing. So as a career path, obviously, even the women should be shown that, look, those are the possibilities. If you would like, then yes, there it is. But this is the same as I do for the other members of my team, for the male members as well. What I can say, what is the difference between, in general, women and men, is that women are not so brave. And being a little bit more shy, they cannot outstand for themselves, nor for career path, nor for salary, for example. And this is the part what I would suggest in the future for women to improve. Well, stand for yourself. Yes, that's what you are doing. You are doing it great. Just go ahead.
I think it would be very important for women to understand what are the feminine skills that make women good as quality people and as testers, and emphasize that, tell them. For instance, I discovered in myself that thinking of the detail, paying attention to the detail, being organized, having patience to listen to others helps me a lot in quality assurance. Basically, I do quality assurance and less testing, but I think these are skills that we maybe don't consider them very important, but in fact they are. And I would emphasize this, tell this to girls. Regarding the research, yes, preparing for this panel, I looked to the Technical University web pages, and I knew that there was a day for girls. We organized that now or the university is organizing that for more years. It was on the 25th of April this year, and it was for high school girls, inviting them to come to the Technical University and showing them how beautiful it is to work, not only in the IT, but in other fields as well. And I also discovered, for instance, that we have a gender quality plan between 222 and 225, the Budapest University of Technology. And it has things like fostering gender equality in recruitment, supporting work-life balance, achieving gender balance in leadership, decision-making, and so on. And still it is very interesting to see that only, for instance, on the electrical engineering faculty where I work, only 7% of the whole personnel is women. Seven teachers with scientific degrees. The entire percentage of girls, of ladies, of women in between the students is altogether around 30%. So it's also very low, I think. And in our department, it's so low that it's not even mentioned. Why is that? It's an interesting question, and in my opinion, it just comes back to the ideas we tell the girls, that you are a girl, you must have a family, you play with a doll, and somehow it's and a boy plays with something else, and he loves to become an engineer. So because honestly, I have the experience that the girls who are there are performing at least at the level of the boys, at least. but usually they perform better. So they are better students than the boys. So they have the capability. And that's why I think that it would be very important to tell the young ladies, the girls, that yes, you are good to be an engineer. It's interesting to be an engineer. And one more thing, I found out also these days that we have a foundation here called NATE. Do you know about it?
Yes, we have a relationship with them.
Okay.
And
so this Hungarian Women in Science. And it's kind of a mentorship program, and you can teach people and you can help people to find their ways in science-related directions. I did not know about all this.
I think we are lucky because we are here in Budapest. But on the countryside, it is really different thing for everyone. And I just want to, again, ask your help to bring the verse to the countryside also, because this is why we bring our event to Szeged the last week. Because on the countryside, it is, yes, all of the percentage is just next to the zero. Okay, and I think all of us, it is the most important point to distribute all of the information that part of the country or around the country also, because it could be lifesaver for someone if we are able to lift up them.
Last Thursday was the Girls' Day, and we had girls at work, so we invited the girls in around the age 12 to 14, so quite young, and they did a bug hunt and they enjoyed it. So that's normally a quite fun event, so they really like it. And at the universities, we're also having like a mentoring program for female students, how to advance. It's called Ariadne, from the Greek lady. So that actually also works quite nice, and they're planning to extend that to students at high school, so that you already talk to them and try to bring them in. And I have to say, the young students I've been working with, they have been very open to go into STEM areas, or the young girls actually. They enjoy it and they have as much fun as the boys.
Were you surprised hearing those statistics from Catalan?
Honestly, I wasn't really surprised about the numbers. I would actually expected it to be even lower, because a change in this size needs significant amount of time. Also because we were a very different country back in the days. I think it's a very slow transitions from that, even after the 90s. And it's also important that it's very nice that we have these foundations that make it easier for women to join this. But if from the society or government you're still pressured that the woman's main role is to give birth and stay at home, then these foundations actually doesn't work that much, unfortunately. That's what I think. Even you didn't know, and that actually tells a lot. And it's a kind of sad story about that.
What is it that people can do? You know, people who've got daughters, teenage girls. You know, what type of thing can you do as a parent to help get the mindset right for those girls and think, yeah, move into a role in engineering?
I think what you mentioned is late. I would even start at kindergarten but because I have this stereotype in my mind that boys are smart and girls are beautiful. Sorry to say it. Not maybe in every family, but I also heard that your brother is smart enough for mathematics and you are not. And that's why I never studied economics, but that's another issue. But no, it's true. So I would say that why not bringing science also to kindergarten children? It's very clear. When my daughter comes to me, she's 3, and asks me, "Mommy, why is the sky blue? Why is the tram so loud? Whatever, why do the planes stay in the sky?" And I don't tell her, "Go to your father, ask him, he knows better." But if I don't know, I also search for it. And if you can answer the questions of a 3-year-old, you know everything about your field. So please, if you have little children in your family or your friends have little children, talk to them, explain to them, what are you doing? What is a tester doing on a daily basis? Are you just pushing the buttons on your laptop?
Dmitry from Lithuania. So this whole idea, ladies stay at home, you chaps go out, and you're the hunters who are bringing home the bacon, as we say. How does that sit in Lithuania?
It triggers to think a lot. I have 2 daughters, adore them, love them, so it made me think what's future awaits. But I would like to reflect a little bit about the stats Katalin shared. I just looked up, I have students at Vilnius University, 105 this year. So I just did a quick review how many students are female, and I've counted 14. So 14 out of 105. It's computer science, faculty of mathematics and informatics. So yeah, probably that something goes kind of deeply into the roots, like you've brought up. Maybe it's a good thing to start in kindergarten, for sure. Because once the students get to the university, we already see that there is some balance. And going further, it's like 7%, right?
Stuart, I'm from the UK like you, and in my utopian world of education in the UK and, female careers and what have you, I think it's all perfectly balanced, and at university level it's all balanced, and I think we bring up our children wonderfully without this stereotypical girl jobs, boy jobs. Am I totally disillusioned?
The numbers in the UK show that going to university, there are more women than there are men going to university. So I think from that perspective, the balance is fine. Although, I was just thinking about trying to get women into science, and my daughter's a fashion designer and my son's a computer scientist. So even though I spent quite a lot of effort trying to get them to do something different, but I think in the UK it's not so bad. But I'm employed in Korea, and I'm in Korea 3 or 4 months a year. In Korea, it's very different. And I think different countries have very different challenges.
How do women actually progress to leadership roles? And Claudia, I'm going to pass this over to you because, again, we've looked at representation just at university level. We're thinking about representation in work. Let's look a little bit about representation in leadership roles and some of the challenges, obstacles, and opportunities there are for women.
Looking at leadership roles at the university, in Erlangen, where I studied, we had like 10 or 11 different chairs and 1 female professor, so 1. So that was the 10% thing. That didn't work really well. And looking back at work right now, leadership, women in leadership positions when I was growing up is the wrong word, entering my career, no, there were not too many. I think it changed slightly, but what I see, and perhaps that is just a personal observation, what I see if I look at young women coming from the university, so I'm talking about 23, 24, they don't necessarily want that. They want more work-life balance, not only the girls, also the boys. They want to work 4 days only and 3 days off. So it changed. So the willingness or the drive to actually take responsibility and do management has changed, at least from my generation to the next one. It's different. They are not really eager to do it. They want I wouldn't say easy, but they want an established job. They want to know what they're doing. Taking on the next step is not necessarily on their bucket list. My view. Perhaps it's different here.
Nowadays, being a security guy is a fancy thing. So I'm always holding Chief Information Security Officer, Business Information Security Officer, Group CISO, and that type of roles. But to tell the truth, I am 44 years old now. And I am approximately at 40, I am just arriving there where no one around me to follow as a mentor, And I think for our generation, it is incredibly difficult to find someone to learn. I think I have a military background, so leadership skills I think I have a lot of. But on the other hand, dealing with the daily routines, planning strategies, making plans, which is understandable for the business in the security way, sure. But it is a really different thing. And, you know, if I find some leader who want to mentor, being a mentor for me, it is always a male. And it is a really different style and a really different mindset. It is not better or worse, okay? It is just different. And I really want to find a woman to follow as a mentor. And I think it is important for us now. And it couldn't be from the ages, I think, because there is all of the generation want to find something like this.
Does your mentor really have to be from your field? See, why don't we choose somebody who's doing totally different what we do? And what I saw as a good example was a few years ago, it was reverse mentoring. Okay, it were two guys. They were almost the same age, but one of them was a top manager and the other one was just, let's say, a team leader at our company. And we were just starting to get agile at my company. And this top manager said, if I want to become a really good agile manager, I need a different mindset. And he found this other guy, and they did it for 6 months. And this guy was also allowed to go to all the meetings everywhere. He could enter everywhere. And they were always asking feedback from their managers, from everybody around. So why not do a reverse mentoring? It worked very, very fine for them. So I say, let's choose another field and let's do it differently, how we do it right now. Why not?
So I'd just like to push it out to the audience to say, are there any topics that you'd like to explore with the panel specifically?
Yeah, just to share also my experience in Portugal. So I have two girls, and when we had the first one, it was our decision, a couple decision, that my wife will stay at home for 2 years. So basically, she stopped the career for 2 years. And to be honest, I don't think she was the one losing. I think I was the one losing more in the story. You know, I felt that a lot, and that's why I tried to change the things with my second one. Looking to the situation in Portugal, I see more and more fathers taking the days off, so taking the paternity leave instead of the mothers. And looking to my current situation, so in my team, it's more or less 50-50. So 50% men, 50% women. But when I look to the management team, so my management team, it's actually the other way around. It's 60-40, so majority are women. And to be honest, in QA, for the last 16 years, I was always used to see that. And probably because I also had a mentor that was a woman, and I learned a lot with her. But most of my teams in QA, since the beginning, they were always or balanced or with more women. And we had also a meetup in Lisbon with Claudia on the Women's Day. And yeah, exactly. And we talked about, you know, what makes the difference. And it's not about skill, it's not or lack of skill. It's more about lack of confidence. So that's what I see looking to my teams, even on my management team. That's what I see as the main difference. Usually the men are much more confident, and that opens doors. You know, because they are willing to take the risk, and they say, "I can do it." You know, and they are not afraid to do it.
If you have a list of skills that you need to have, and if you, just from my field, if you have a man and he covers 50%, he says, yeah, I have 50%, I can do it. And if you are a woman and you cover 50%, no, you're way too bad, right? You need at least 80, 90%. So that's the difference. That's, for me, captures the difference. Not the real skills or capabilities, but the confidence in doing it. So be brave, just do it.
What is it that organizations can do to try to attract women and to stop that feeling of, I can't apply for that, I'm a woman? You know, is it something to do with the language of CVs? Is it something to do with the hiring process? What can be changed?
I just think we have to change the whole system, because nowadays everyone talking about imposter syndrome and all those things, and it is always connecting somewhat to the girls. And I just hate it. And I think we have to cover all of the things, because not you the problem. The system is the problem. And because we are stand up and want the equal pay and equal everything around the job we are making the daily life, we just have to get the another salary and all those, the environment around us, which is suitable for us. And that's all. We have to change the system.
A massive thank you to the panel for taking part. So thank you very much.